mountains, and today I'm gonna shoot a little vlog. Haven't been doing vlogs for a while. We're going to Svaneti, which is a beautiful mountain region on the north of Georgia. We rent this little beauty on the Prius Sea, and we're going to Mestia, which is like the main city in Svaneti, but we also want to visit a few stops on the road. Renting a car in Georgia is actually quite easy. You can go to localrent.com/Georgia and pick any car you want for the trip. It'll be delivered right to your doorstep. We rent this car for 3 days for $40 per day. But be upfront about your plans to go to Svaneti or any remote region. It's usually not an issue because the roads in Georgia are quite good condition, but our rental was quite surprised that we didn't tell them that we were going to the mountains. I always loved traveling around Georgia because it's such a beautiful country to explore, and I recently got my license, so it's kind of the first long road trip, and I'm really looking forward to it. Let's hope there are no obstacles on the road. Let's go! We started the road trip from Batumi by going along the coast, leaving the Chaaladi region and driving towards Mingrelia. If you know Mingrelia and Khachapuri, that's where they're coming from. We successfully drove 75 kilometers until our first stop, a small port town called Poti. Ever heard of the story of Jason and Argonauts from Greek mythology? Poti was the town where famous Argonauts arrived and entered to Georgia in search of the Golden Fleece. The city has a small provincial vibe, and we enjoyed walking around. They have a nice park there and a beautiful Poti cathedral. After walking around a bit, we continued the trip heading towards the capital of Mingrelia, Zugdidi. In Zugdidi, you can also enjoy stretching your legs, walking a large park, but I would strongly recommend visiting one of the restaurants and trying Mingrelia and Khachapuri. Usually, the food that originated from the region is the best in that region. So we did it in a place called Diaroni, and Khachapuri was very tasty. And as everywhere in Georgia, you can meet some dogs walking around the town, and you can pet them as well. Our next destination was Enguri Dam, the largest hydroelectric dam in the Kafkas region and the second highest concrete arc dam in the world, with a height of 271 meters. Another interesting fact is that half of the dam is located on the occupied territory of Abkhazia and half of the territory of Georgia. Because of the conflict between the regions, it was a problem to maintain the dam for some time, but in 1992 the sides finally come to an agreement and it's working to this day. Great example is that if people want and need something, they can always find a solution without the need for continuing the conflict. Unfortunately, we didn't manage to go inside the dam with the tour because you have to book it at least for a few hours and we didn't have them. They also not allow you to go in their own car. I shot some videos from the drone though. The water wasn't as blue as on the pictures on Google Maps, but the construction is quite impressive anyway, so it's a great visiting point. Afterward, we finally hit the road for the last mile heading toward Mestia, the largest town and the capital of Svaneti region. Giving some water to the dogs we meet along the way. The city is located 1.5 kilometers above sea level in the Caucasus Mountains, so the last part is mostly the mountain serpentine road. But the surface condition was pretty good. I was genuinely surprised how good the roads are there on the whole trip. This part is also the most beautiful of the whole trip. So the passenger better prepare their phones because beauty is everywhere, with an amazing Georgian vibe of course. I think we even saw Uzba, which is the highest peak in Georgia, but it's still unclear. If you can guess the mountain by the shape, please let me know in the comments. And finally we reached Mestia. We arrived yesterday late at night and we checked in a hotel, and I was literally tired from all the road. We drove like 4, 6, maybe 7 hours straight. But it's all worth it. It's so far, I'm really loving it here, and Mestia, you inevitably comparing it to Kazbegi where we've been like last year. It's so much enjoyable, and here you have like this Mestia town. It's a little town and it's so cozy and vibrant compared to Kazbegi. I think it has like this little ski resort vibe, which is when you imagining the ski resorts, you immediately imagining the town like these small wooden huts or some nice restaurants. And we went to the famous restaurant here, and it was so loud and the music were loud and people were dancing, so the vibe is absolutely amazing. And also check this view. that we have. It's basically a mountains straight on our balcony in a hotel, and we also have these two of these towers which called Swan Towers. It's kind of like significant towers here in Svaneti. So yeah, so far really loving it, and now we're going to the breakfast and explore town a little bit more on the daylight and see what we can get else.
After a tasty breakfast in our hotel, we discovered that we have a rooftop, so we relaxed there, enjoying amazing views. By the way, I'll link the hotel in the description below, it was a fantastic stay. There are many small planes in the sky above Mestia. You can actually take a plane from Tbilisi there and land at a small airport right in the city, if you are unlike me and don't like driving and are not scared to death of flying. After chilling and walking around the town a little bit, we decided to go for a hike toward the glacier called Chaaladi. We were thinking if we should take a car or go on foot. Eventually we decided to take a car. It wasn't the smartest idea, to be honest, because the road is quite bad straight from the beginning towards the hike. You constantly have to maneuver so you won't drive into the hole. After 10 or 15 minutes of struggle, we ditched the car somewhere on the sideway and started our hike. The first part just goes along the road, but even here the views are already stunning. So if you feel confident about going around 20 kilometers by foot, I advise you to not to take a car at all, or at least pick a proper truck and not the small Toyota. When you reach the bridge, it means you're halfway done. After the bridge, the path starts getting up high and into the forest. It might be a bit challenging here, but overall it's a beginner-friendly hike. This part of the hike goes along the fast and raging river, so you'll never get lost. The river is actually water from the melting glacier. After 30-40 minutes within the forest and a few stops to catch breath, you'll see it.
Here it is, Chaaladi glacier. It's pretty far from here, but you still can see it. It's really amazing view. It's actually the first glacier I've ever saw, so it's pretty impressive. It's huge.
After enjoying the views of the glacier and the mountains around, we get back to Mestia. It was our last day in Svaneti. In the morning we hit the road back to Batumi. I absolutely enjoyed the trip, and Svaneti now is one of my favorite destinations. If you ever visit Georgia, I recommend you to put it on your plan. I hope you enjoyed going on this journey with me. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. I see you in the next video. Bye bye!